Every year there's a rookie wide receiver. And this year that's Maserati Marv. Kyler Murray's his quarterback, has never passed for 4,000 yards in his career, hasn't played a full season in 3 years. Now, I'm not saying that he can't be good, but if you're looking for a dynamic playmaker to get early for fantasy football, Marvin Harrison's not your guy.
Who do you not want to draft? We'll call in the first 2 rounds of fantasy leagues this season. You're on the clock. We'll call it back end of round 1 or round 2. You're looking to get a premium player. Who's a guy you're saying, I don't know if I'm going to take him if he's there?
So I'm sitting at the back end of round 2. I think every year there's that.
So you're the back end at round. So you're at an early pick.
Round 2.
So you're at an early pick and.
Like, I'm talking like we're closing in near the 20 spot. We're at the late teens, early 20s. Okay.
So depending on league size, you're, let's call it the middle of round 2.
Yeah. Every year there's a rookie wide receiver that gets hyped up. He's the guy. He was drafted early, stud in college. And this year that's Maserati Marv. And he looked awesome in college. He was a great receiver. But the situation that he goes to in Arizona, it makes me hesitant to take him as high as a wide receiver 10. He's going to a place where Kyler Murray's his quarterback, guy that runs a lot, has never passed for 4,000 yards in his career, hasn't played a full season in 3 years, and they had the 26th ranked passing offense last year, didn't have a 1,000-yard wide receiver. Now, I'm not saying that he can't be good, but if you're looking for a dynamic playmaker to get early for fantasy football, guys that you want putting up a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns, Marvin Harrison's not your guy.
Okay, Marvin Harrison or Stephon Diggs you're drafting today?
I'm probably going to take Marvin Harrison in that situation just because Stephon Diggs is in a committee room. I don't think that Stephon Diggs goes that early. I don't think that he will be a top 10 wide receiver.
Marvin Harrison or Mike Evans?
Probably Mike Evans. His consistency speaks for itself.
Based on your rankings, you better take Evans.
Yeah. I put him at number 4, and I got a lot of hate for that. But if you look at Mike Evans...
consistent.
Guys that get hurt early first-round fantasy football screws over your season. Your season is basically over at that point.
Exactly.
And Mike Evans, he's going to go for 1,000 yards. He's going to go for 10-plus touchdowns. Baker Mayfield's a lot better than people give him credit for. Mike Evans is a safety pick, especially in round 2.
Marvin Harrison, Chris Olave, Michael Pittman. Choose one. Or rank them early on.
I'm probably going to go Chris Olave. I definitely like him. I like Derek Carr. My dad's a Raiders fan, so I grew up watching Carr for a number of years. I think that he's set to have a better year in New Orleans than people think. And Chris Olave is going to be the wide receiver 1. Michael Pittman's playing with Anthony Richardson. We don't know much about him. He's a big-time running quarterback. And again, I'm just not incredibly high on Marvin Harrison, and I think either Olave or Pittman would be better value picks.
Marvin Harrison, think I'm getting excited for this year. I think you have it noted here that their leading pass catcher was Trey McBride. That's a good thing, in my opinion. They're desperate for somebody to catch the ball. This guy's going to be a target hog out the gate. Week 1, whoever they play week 1, he's going to be a 10-plus target guy the first game of the season. I always say you don't want to, overdraft somebody, lose a draft in the first or second round, but this is not like a 5th-round draft pick that had a good senior collegiate year and then boasted up the draft boards, or somebody that had a good rookie season and then boasted up the draft boards. This is a guy that has been talked about for 2 years at college football, was a consensus number 1 receiver, and now landed in a decent spot with a quarterback that has a lot to prove, an offense that's probably going to be playing from behind a lot. There's going to be a lot of garbage points there for Marvin Harrison. I like the talent. This is a guy that, and I'm going to compare him to somebody right now like Puka Nacua. I'd be inclined to take Marvin Harrison over Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua was a 6th-round draft pick and a gem find by the Rams, and they hit on him. He's a good receiver, but is he an elite receiver? I don't know. Cooper Kupp had a down year last year. If Cooper Kupp resurrects this year, that tide could turn a little bit. Marvin Harrison, I know, is a number 1 wide receiver for the Cardinals and a team that's going to be playing from behind a lot. Puka Nacua, I know, is a late-round draft pick that blossomed and had a great year, and I picked him up last year, and now I have to use a first-round draft pick on him. So I have a hesitancy to draft Puka Nacua and Kyren Williams, where their ADPs are right now. I could probably miss on them, but for me, right now, Puka Nacua and Kyren Williams, based on their ADP and based on the talent and where they were drafted last year, I mean, these guys were both free agent pickups last year. Now I have to use a first or second round pick on them. I'd rather take somebody that's more established. I'd rather take Derrick Henry, a guy that has done it for 8-9 years. I'd rather take a Travis Etienne, a guy that's on a better offense that's done it for 4 years now. I'd rather take a guy like Garrett Wilson that's playing on a Jets offense with Aaron Rodgers. I just think that there's better talent than Puka Nacua and Kyren Williams in the first and second round.
Yeah, I don't think that I would be looking at Puka Nacua as a first-round wide receiver. I view him in a similar way that I look at a guy like Devonta Smith.
Okay.
You know, like he is a wide receiver too. You have Cooper Kupp, who won the Triple Crown 2 years ago. He is going to be the number one option in Los Angeles.
Well, so like for what it's worth, right now in ESPN ADP, I mean, I'm going to go to all. It's either the rankings that ESPN have. It's obviously early, and these rankings are going to change. It'll actually be fun to see as we record this podcast where the rankings change as like draft season comes, because they will change a lot. Right now, if you're drafting today, which nobody in the world is doing, Kyren Williams is the 15th pick in the draft, and Puka Nacua is the 12th pick in the draft. So depending on league size, pretty much first round, early second round pick. Devonta Smith, who you paired Puka Nacua with, is going as the 49th pick. So it just goes to show you're paying the premium right off the rip for Nacua.
Yeah, but
and even if he's good, I don't even think it's worth it.
But there's a reason why they call him Pad Stafford. He likes to throw the ball down the field. Both receivers are going to get a lot of targets. Sean McVay is a dynamic offensive head coach.
Nacua will be good. And he will be good, but is there safer options in round one than Puka Nacua?
I would definitely
like for me, Derrick Henry over Puka Nacua and Kyren Williams. And if I die on Derrick Henry, a borderline Hall of Fame running back, going from the Titans who were awful last season to now maybe the best rushing attack in the NFL and a team that's going to be winning a lot of games, yeah, so be it. If Kyren Williams is better than Derrick Henry, so be it.
I just think that Kyren Williams showed that he was a good player.
What did Derrick Henry show for the last decade?
It's true, but
Kyren Williams had one really good year, and if you look into the stats, it was what you look for in running backs: snap share, red zone touches, touchdowns. Like, he dominated those categories. He excelled because of volume.
Yeah,
that's why if that volume comes down a little bit for a guy that's not some automatic workhorse. I mean, Kyren Williams wasn't the starting running back for when he came to the team.
Yeah, because they had Cam Akers and they traded him to Minnesota.
Yeah, and Cam Akers was their guy. So like, Sean McVay's been a guy that has said, "All right, you're a running back. We will roll with you." But when you draft a guy in the third round, where's he from again? Blake Corum from Michigan. You draft a guy like him in round 3. I think they want a backup running back. That's why they drafted him. But he could be somebody that I think could creep into Kyren. If he plays well, like McVay will snap. If Kyren Williams fumbles a few games, has a few bad games, and Blake Corum's shown that he could carry the load, McVay will make that change. Derrick Henry is not losing his job.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry is safe. He's done it for a decade. He goes to the best offense he's ever played on. Like, give me Derrick Henry every day over Kyren
he's also on
Puka Nacua.
He's on the wrong side of 30, though.
So be it.
He's got the age, and I agree. But it's the same thing.
We're talking about a guy that just produces. Even if he's not great, even if Henry's not great, he will not lose you a league. He will be a top 12 running back. He will be. He's
the Mike Evans of running backs.
Yes, exactly. He's safe. He won't lose you a league.
It's a fair point.